Picture this. You're scrolling through TikTok, enjoying your daily dose of chaotic joy. Puppies, dance challenges, the occasional existential crisis, all in a day's work. Suddenly a video stops you in your tracks. It's dazzling, it's colorful, it's, wait for it, a luxurious Miami mansion, bursting with bright neon lights. A gaggle of young women laughs, dances, and lip syncs to some trending sound you're probably too old to understand. The vibes are fun, and the energy is higher than your hopes for National Pizza Day. For a brief moment, you think, just another content house, no big deal. But then something feels off. Maybe it's the fact that their biggest critics aren't just people who simply don't get it, but those who suspect that something is deeply wrong behind the scenes. In today's video, or should I say, wild roller coaster of TikTok reality, we're diving deep into the shining and often alarming world of the Bop House. Yes, that's right, the Bop House. You may have heard this name thrown around on the interwebs like confetti at a poorly planned party. It's been dubbed Gen Z's version of the Playboy Mansion, a magical land where young influencers wring out millions while living the dream. At least that's the facade. But as you dig deeper, you realize that what glitters may not always be gold. It might just be a neon sign advertising drama. So what exactly is the Bop House? Who's running the show? Who's got the best dance moves? And maybe the most questionable life choices? Buckle up, because it's going to be a wild ride through the glittery facade of TikTok's shadiest content house. The Bop House, for the blissfully uninformed, is a content creator collective based in Miami, Florida, that exploded and into the limelight back in December 2024. It was founded by OnlyFans influencers Sophie Rain and Sophie. Yes, you read correctly, there are two Sophies. There should probably be a law against that. This house serves as a collaborative oasis for female content creators to produce and spread material across platforms like TikTok and Instagram. The name Bop House comes from the slang term bop, commonly used to refer to someone who's, shall we say, popular in certain liberated activities. And they say language doesn't evolve. Well, according to Wikipedia, bop is a derogatory term generally used for women, implying a certain excessiveness in flirtatiousness or promiscuity. Let's just say, in more colorful language, it can mean someone notorious for bopping around like it's a soul-train dance party on a Friday night. So as you can see, Bop House is not just a whimsical name. It's a title that comes with a heap of social baggage that many would find alarming. It's kind of like showing up to a family reunion and discovering everyone's wearing matching Family of the Year t-shirts, while Aunt Linda is arguing with Uncle Bob about whose turn it is to drink the last beer. You know there's drama, and it's just waiting to explode. This brings us to the cast of characters that populate this TikTok mansion. Aside from the duo of Sophies, let's meet some of the other inhabitants who reside under the same neon roof. We've got 19-year-old Joy May and the 22-year-old Camilla, spicy names that scream in social media glory. Then there are the young guns, 19-year-old Ava Ray, 20-year-old Summer, and Julia Lena, to name a few, but they're basically a roll call for a dance challenge gone rogue. But here's the catch: the overwhelming majority of members in this bop troupe look suspiciously young. This raises some eyebrows, and for good reason. They seem to project a glamorous lifestyle, renting out enormous Airbnb mansions under the age of 23. Seriously, who invited them to play house? When you start to think about it, you can't help but wonder, where's the adult supervision? Now you might be wondering, how much are they making off this Bop House lifestyle? Well, let me tell you, my friend, it's a staggering amount. One member reportedly made $6 million last month. Next up, and then another member managed to rake in about $2.5 million.
How much did you make last month?
$6 million.
All right, next person. That was underwhelming. I don't even. Aisha, how much did you make last month?
Like around 2.5 mil.
Do you feel poor yet?
Because I do.
How much did you make last month?
1 million.
All right, next person. Okay, how much did you make last month?
I just made $100K last month.
Yes! Okay. Jujubeen, how much did you make last month? $600. Okay. Wow. Remember when we used to
Because
be
of you!
I wouldn't be here without you.
Anyone remember when you used to have a job and you felt important just because you earned more than your friends? In this universe, those feelings are dashed as you realize your paycheck is equivalent to the price of one of their manicures. And as people are starting to understand, the message this sends to impressionable young girls is more dangerous than when Aunt Linda tries to convince everyone she can still do the Macarena. You see, this whole lavish portrayal subtly pushes the idea that financial success is achieved not through hard work or a sound education, but by navigating platforms like OnlyFans. Young girls aren't just watching dance videos. They're getting conditioned to think selling intimacy, or at least the illusion of it, is the key to a luxurious lifestyle. Oh, and let's not ignore the audience these creators attract. A lovely melting pot of two particularly distinct groups, thirsty older men nursing fresh 18-year-old fantasies, and wide-eyed teenage girls who are convinced they too want to bask in the glittery glow of TikTok fame. Now, before we go further, we have to discuss the more scandalous aspects of this collective known as the Bop House, most notably the situation involving a certain TikTok starlet known as Piper Raquel. Piper, born in August 2007, yes, she's still a teenager, folks, is a booming 17-year-old TikTok creator who has drawn some controversy for dancing alongside the adult members of the Bop House.
The middle part, badass bitch. You ain't never had pussy like this. Titties on your forehead, titties on your chest. Titties with my big titty shreds.
Could ever stretch. But back to Piper. With a whopping 12 million YouTube subscribers and 13 million TikTok followers, she should be celebrated for her accomplishments. Instead, in many eyes, she's just a minor thrust into the wild world of adult content creators, which is just heartbreaking. Why? Because the adults around her, including her mom, are wielding their power in ways that can be downright exploitative. Rather than cultivate her talents, they elevate a narrative that only seems to diminish her character into a controversial label. Now let's discuss the podcasting incident. Yes, because apparently everybody's a podcaster now. One of the Bop House ladies, Camilla, appeared on a podcast and spoke about Piper, candidly saying, "She's so cute. Isn't she like 17? It sounded like she was cooing over a puppy in a pet shop, rather than recognizing the implications of a younger girl's presence in an adult-oriented house. Camilla's comment trivializes an invaluable truth. Piper is a minor, and her being involved in adult situations, even if she's just hanging out, raises more eyebrows than a poorly made eyebrow tutorial on TikTok. And then there's the social media frenzy following Piper's TikTok collaborations, particularly with the Bop House. Let's just say her comment sections read like an unhinged fan fiction that we'd hope never sees the light of day. The darker side of youth stardom rears its ugly head here, as comments can also take on a more grotesque twist filled with predatory intentions, men lurking behind screens waiting to pounce. If that's not a recipe for danger, I don't know what is. It's like a sad episode of Law and Order, Special Victims Unit waiting to happen. Now, in spite of all of this, many still defend what Piper is doing, claiming she's merely dancing and hanging with friends. But let's be real, these girls know what they're doing, and it's more than just carefree vibes. It's convoluted and, dare I say, toxic content aimed at an audience that frankly shouldn't be involved in the first place. When you think things couldn't get worse, we learned of Tiffany Raquel's rather dubious parenting, together with the absolutely bonkers actions of the Bop House creators. She seems to have pushed Piper into exploitative situations, dressing her in revealing clothes and peddling questionable content to a voracious audience of dubious adults. It gets wilder. Piper once appeared in a web series and has her music releases, like Treat Myself, clearly a play on the fact that she's not treating herself by engaging with this mess. Instead of being celebrated for her accomplishments, she's often pigeonholed into a narrative that doesn't consider her innocence or her age. Piper is not alone. Many influencers find themselves gripped by the iron hand of social media, acting out scenes as if their worth is contingent solely on their ability to attract views and profits, rather than focusing on nurturing real talent and potential. This all culminates in a storm surrounding the Piper situation, complete with a lawsuit involving Tiffany Smith, yes, momager extraordinaire, who faced accusations of financial exploitation, emotional abuse, and yes, even dressing minors inappropriately, along with a whole slew of other horrors. The lawsuit hit like a Mack truck, showcasing how 3 kids under the age of 18 were caught in a web far bigger than their Instagram stories. Imagine a lawsuit where little ones stepped forward detailing stories of screaming manipulation.
Young ladies amassed more than 10 million followers on YouTube, shooting silly videos with their friends. Now Lisa Guerrero reports some of those now former friends and their parents are suing, alleging they were exploited.
Good morning, guys!
She's a multi-millionaire YouTube star and she's only 15.
It's gonna be a super awesome video!
You may not know her name, but your teenage kids do. Her name is Piper Raquel.
I brought my whole entire squad.
And her videos have amassed close to a remarkable 2 billion views. She has her own YouTube channel with 10.5 million subscribers.
We are doing a really highly requested video.
Piper is the star, but her videos also feature her goofing around with a rotating squad of friends.
All these happy kids when, like, behind the scenes, that's not how we all were. We're stressed out crying and being in these videos because you're yelling at us, and it's not fair.
Yeah, you did it!
But today, Piper's mom, Tiffany Smith, is under fire by all these former squad members for claims of financial exploitation. In a lawsuit, they accuse her of exposing them to a physical, emotional, verbal, and sometimes sexually abusive environment.
All of our innocence was just swiped from us. She would, like, run around and say cool things to you.
Were you ever asked
to pose provocatively or to wear things you were uncomfortable wearing?
Oh yeah, Tiffany would always tell me to go up into Piper's closet and get something that's more tight and revealing.
What began as a supposed fun YouTube channel spiraled into a cautionary tale reminiscent of horror movies. In an ironic twist, Piper's mom later claimed that these allegations surfaced solely from jealousy. Because, you know, when you can't defend against accusations of terrible parenting, just go with the classic "nobody loves my success" excuse, as if that justifies the years of alleged exploitation. Meanwhile, Netflix picked up the story for a docu-series called Bad Influence: The Dark Side of Kidfluencing, set to premiere in April 2025. Oh, this should be juicy. It would explore everything from Tiffany's role in propelling her daughter into a world she's too young to navigate, to shedding light on the struggles of young influencers. And just when we think this dark turn of events couldn't get any stranger, there's a twist involving another Bop House member, Joy May, who, in the ultimate plot twist, decides to leave the Bop House due to her moral discomfort with Piper's involvement. "I'm not doing anything associated with a minor," she remarked, later backtracking in what can only be called a TikTok version of a political apology filled with bluster but ultimately lacking sincerity.
It is about Piper, because one thing about me is that I'm never gonna do anything associated with a minor. Like, it is ridiculous that the Bop House would even do that when there's so many other people you can collab with that is over age, because we all know what you guys do. So I just think it's fucking ridiculous, and I cannot tolerate that.
It's like a soap opera, folks. Adults behaving badly, teenagers caught in the crosshairs of fame and fortune, and content creators more concerned about their follower counts than actual lives. Let's wrap it all up. The Bop House is a gilded cage, showcasing the absurdity of modern influencer culture. It's a cocktail of ambition, swirled with greed and a dash of youthful naivety, garnished with adult indecency. What started as a fun venture has devolved into an alarming reality that underscores how easily the world of social media can spiral out of control, especially when minors are involved. If nothing else, the saga of the Bop House serves as a crucial reminder of the inherent dangers lurking in the shadows of online stardom. It's a world filled with shiny facades, promising fame and fortune, but behind them the darkness lurks, waiting to trade away innocence for a fast buck and more followers. Now, as we watch this whirlwind of pop culture unfold, it's crucial that the audience pays attention. We can't let another child wander down this treacherous path without holding the adults accountable. So what are your thoughts on the Bop House and the peculiar yet alarming trends of influence? Feel free to share your reflections in the comments section below. Until next time, stay vigilant, keep scrolling, but maybe take a break from TikTok before it swallows you whole. Thank you for joining us. Stay wild, stay informed, and remember, keep your face to the sunny side of life, even when the Bop House casts an ominous shadow. And there you have it, a hilarious yet critical exposition of one of TikTok's most controversial corners.